Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to another glorious episode of the Prepare to Repair Show. I am your host, Plumber Steve Suarez, Certified Plumbing Inspector with the state of Illinois. I'm proud to say that. Joining me on the show is the awesomest ladies I know. I don't even know if awesomest is the word, but I'm just going to say it anyway because it's my word. Audrey Johnson with Home Source Realty and Nancy Graham. That's a pretty cool last name.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
And she's with Portfolio Mortgage Corporation. And today's show, we're going to discuss the ever-changing housing market, especially since rates increased, and where it takes us as we head into the end of the year. Plus other things, because before the show started, I brought up that news story that I've been talking about for the last few weeks. I had talked about it on the show before the 4th of July and with a home inspector I had on last week. But as always, the Prepare to Repair Show is presented by Ferguson Kitchen, Bath, and Lighting Showroom, located at 7950 West 185th Street in beautiful Tinley Park. Whether you're doing a minor facelift or a full kitchen and bath remodel, Ferguson has you covered. Now, before the show, we were talking about. I gave you a little synopsis on this news story that was on Channel 2 a few weeks ago about a woman who bought a house and she was somehow allowed to close with a lot of problems that it had with the promise of it being done after the fact. And it said that she had 30 days to point out any issues to get repairs done. And she made a list, and when it came down during that 30 days, she made one call, they answered her once, and then nothing ever since. And this is a year or so later, and I guess the house is actually having more problems than it's falling apart. Falling apart. Now, when I told you guys this story, I got the old, side eye on that one. Like, basically, it didn't sound right from obviously women who are in this industry. I don't want to say women, just people have been in this industry for a long time and have been doing this for a long time. Does that sound right? I mean, does it sound like there's more questions than I mean, does that make sense?
Well, here to me as a realtor, when somebody signs a contract for a house, okay. You have what we call the attorney review period. So that's 5 business days or a week for your attorney to look at the contract. And you also have that same time period to have a home inspection with a home inspector of the buyer's choice that they hire and pay for. Okay. When you get that back, if there are issues on that home inspection, you discuss it with your attorney, your realtor, and you have a list of what you perceive to be the defects, problems, repairs needed on that house. Okay. The attorney puts that in writing, sends it to the other attorney, and they work at resolving it. So, for example, if there's a leak in a toilet seal, we want that redone.
Why'd you have to go to plumbing? You couldn't pick a roof or something?
I was trying to help you out here. I'm telling you how much you're needed. Right. Work with me here.
I thought you were pointing out the
need for a plumber.
Plumbing work.
I am. Come on. And then, missing shingles on a roof.
You already went there already.
A broken chimney cap. So say you have 5 things that you want repaired, that are valid. Right. Health or safety issues is what a lot of times we call them in the business, So you agree on whatever it is, agree to disagree. Either you make the contract work, it falls apart, but say you agree. Then it's put in writing between the attorneys how that'll be resolved.
Okay.
Some people say, just give me a credit. The buyers will say, give me a credit for the repair. I'll do it myself. Each side gets an estimate. They'll say what's fair for both sides, and they'll get a credit on their closing statement towards that repair.
And they'll sign off.
And they'll say, yes. Okay. That'll all be in there. Or you could say, I want the sellers to repair it. And then they have to repair it, and then, importantly, produce proof in the form of a bill, receipt, and usually it's required, like for electrical work, you want a licensed electrician. So you have to have a proper receipt. So the other side presents this, you have proof of repair, you have proof of compliance, and then it's all okay. Those are then addressed, and the attorney review period is over. Both sides are happy.
Now, I want to ask you, in your experience, have you ever seen where a house was able to close with some sort of promise at the end, if you find anything else that, we'll take care of or do anything, like after the fact? Or
I have not. The only time, let's say there's a problem, and Nancy was discussing this before, is if there is a problem that can't be resolved, because maybe like as now, a contractor's not available to fix it, you can't get a repairman to do that, then the attorneys create an escrow, and they will hold money back for the cost of that project, and it will not be and then it will be used to pay for that repair. Okay, so that will be happen at the closing. That money will be set aside for that specific purchase, but you have to address these problems before you close.
Right.
Okay. Now, like a new construction, that's something different. Like a new builders will have theirs. Like they might guarantee their work for whatever period of time. You have 30 days, a year, whatever it is, warranty on their work for new construction, but not normally on resale homes.
Right. This I think, was a rehab, and I don't think that would apply as far as the warranties on it, would it?
It would depend on the company, but I honestly have never had that happen with a rehab.
Because most of the times,
when you close, you're done. Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Right. And on the other side, as far as from the purchasing standpoint, from a lender's standpoint, they want to make sure that everything is in good shape and everything's the way it says, because you're lending on it.
Correct. We have the mortgage company does not require you to get a home inspection. Some people just pass it by and feel they don't need it. They don't want to pay for it because the buyer pays for it. Now, in a case like this, if it's a rehab and considered a flip, which means it wasn't owned by the same person in the last year, will require 2 appraisals, and the appraisers have to, they've got to kind of be close of course, you're going to get the lower of the 2. And if there's anything that they noticed or note in their appraisal, it has to be repaired ahead of time. So there's a lot more questions you'd have to ask about the story in order to piece together the full picture. And there's just not enough information here to do that.
But one thing we can take from it is, one, like we always say, start with good, solid, trustworthy people, especially with a purchase such as a large purchase such as this, as a home, having people that are going to be reputable, that are going to guide you through this complicated sale. Because once you close on it, you're done.
This is, not Macy's. You can't take it back if it doesn't fit. Right. Once you bought it, you own it.
The only time I've ever seen a guarantee is on a brand new home. You get 1 year. Right. They get 1 year to gather their list, and then it has to be fixed. And the holdbacks are usually for grass, cement, weather-related items. And if there is an escrow created for a holdback that was done during COVID, it has an end date on it. Must be done by then. Or the title company took 1.5 times what the repair would cost. Okay. And then the homeowner gets to pick it. If they go past that date, it gets repaired and it gets paid for out of the title company.
Okay. So basically, there's funds that are there's procedures for this. Let's go with that.
There is.
There's procedures for it. So there's more information that is needed to answer or to really clarify what went on here. But again, the main thing is right off the bat, you want to make sure you get the right people to guide you through this, because having the right realtor, like Audrey,
thank you,
and having the right people working with it, having the right home inspector going through everything, and being teamed up with the right lender and an attorney that is going to make everything go that much more smoothly, and you get a real happy result at the end.
Yeah, and it's not to say that there aren't, people who aren't rehabbers, flippers, whatever, that aren't doing the right thing and just doing surface work to make it look pretty. But all that should have been caught on the inspection and satisfied on the attorney review.
Correct. So we're going to take a quick break. You're listening to the Prepare to Repair show here on 1340 WJOL. We will be back, and I'm going to touch a little bit more on that flippers that are doing work.
WJOL.
Back to the Prepare to Repair show. I'm your host, Plumber Steve Suarez, and back with me is Audrey Johnson with Home Source Realty and Nancy Graham. That is a cool name. I like her name.
That's because I'm not part of Graham Plumbing.
No, but
RJ Graham.
But that's awesome. And before the break, we were talking about houses that were flipped and things like that. I have my opinions about flippers and things like that. I have my concerns just working over the years with a lot of people that did this type of work. But I wanted to touch on something before I get into that, and we were talking off the air, is now you were saying that when you take on a client and you are giving referrals or recommendations for people like, say, a home inspector or even an attorney or mortgage people, you give multiple names, correct?
We are supposed to legally offer like 3 names.
Okay.
And
then they choose.
They could choose, or they could choose anybody they want. They're not bound to. No client has to pick somebody we give them. If they have somebody they like, they could certainly do that. A lot of times we recommend, especially attorneys, somebody who's a real estate attorney, not your cousin who practices criminal law but is going to do the real estate on the side as a favor. That usually never ends well.
Your cousin Vinny?
So we kind of like to keep it with somebody who is experienced in the field.
Right. Well, it's the things, I don't know if people really know that. Again, if you're a first-time home buyer, you really don't know. It's very intimidating coming in. And a lot of this has changed even from, say, they're getting information from somebody who bought a house 5 years ago or maybe even 10 years ago. A lot has changed.
Things have changed. And as I said to you on the break, is I think especially, and even with this situation that we talked about, it's people who are new to buying a house don't know what they don't know. Right. So they're taking as gospel whatever somebody's telling them. Right. They may have a new person. They have somebody who doesn't know just doesn't know the business as well as they should, or is only telling them certain things. Sometimes realtors forget how much we know, especially if we've been in the business. You have to remember to tell everybody everything. That it's the first time, explain everything to everybody. Give them all their choices. Tell them all their options. It eliminates a lot of problems like this.
Explain everything like they just got here from another planet.
Yeah. I always act on the premise that nobody has done this before. Right. How many times do you buy a house in your life? 2, 3, maybe just once. So how are you ever going to know? That's why you're hiring me. I'm supposed to know and guide you and keep you safe.
Well, like you said, I always say it sounds kind of stupid, but a lot of times you don't know enough to know what you don't know.
Exactly.
So you are asking a professional to guide you through that, and you're expecting information on that. And that's why, even in my business, when I run into people, they're asking questions, and I'll get people who will say, it's this. They diagnosed it, and it's this. This needs to be repaired. And I'm like, well, I'm going to check it out and go through it. I already know it's this. Well, okay, if I go and I fix this based on what you said, all you have to, and it doesn't work. Well, why'd you listen to me? I'm not a plumber. That's why I got you here.
Right.
So it's very easy. It's like if we are, let's just say this: if you assess it and you have your assessment on it, and I come in and look at it, and we both come to the same conclusion, nothing happened. Nothing's wrong. But if I come in and look at it and I find XYZ wrong with it, and it's not what you thought, I'm on the hook for whatever's being done. So I'm responsible for everything that's done that I touch and do. And, and it's not really, it's same but different. But when you are helping somebody and they're coming to you, they're relying on your expertise to guide them. And that information is only going to be as useful as the person who's going to apply it and listen to you.
And that's correct. it's like any other profession, a doctor, a lawyer. I mean, half of us graduated top of our class, half people graduated the bottom of the class. Who do you want operating on you? You should always interview people and make sure you have not only the person most knowledgeable, but the person temperament-wise, goal-wise, that you mesh and work together. Because, like Nancy and I work very closely with people. We're in their lives for a month, 2 months, 3 months, maybe longer for me, searching for a house for people for months. You really become part of, you know everything about them. So it has to be a good fit so you like and trust each other to do the right thing.
And not only that, but after working with somebody like that for a while, you'd have to be really cold to guide somebody just strictly for
down
the
the
money.
wrong path. Yeah,
down the wrong path.
I get real attached to my clients. I keep most of them as friends.
To tell you the truth, for me, I ask, especially first-time homebuyers now, to find anyone who hasn't owned in 3 years. I will ask them who is, like if it's just one person or young kids, I ask them, who is going to work with you on this transaction in your family or in your circle? And they'll look at me like they have 10 heads, like it doesn't apply. And I said, oh, but it is going to apply. Because you're going to talk to your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, and tell them what's going on. And if you're hearing what I'm saying and you relay it incorrectly, they're going to be questioning, and then you're going to be questioning. So I really want to know who's going to help you with this. Mm-hmm. So if we run into trouble or you're going to feel more comfortable repeating the story, why don't we just have them on the phone with us when I'm explaining all of this? And then you guys can talk it over and find out if we're the right fit. And I have found that really works out well because the third party is the one that's really understanding because they've done it before.
Right.
And they can keep them more on the right track.
Well, not only that, but, that's a great point, is if you have somebody there that is listening as well, you've got the person that is involved that's actually in the transaction. Then you have somebody on the outside that's the outside looking in that can observe.
Right.
And it's an outside looking in, giving you that kind of perspective that is going to guide you when your nerves are
it's more objective.
Right. Or I have a couple, and I've seen this a lot lately, where the couple is so anxious to get it. They don't want to cause any waves. They just want to get it because they're done looking. They're tired of it. So this way we have at least one parent or someone responsible that can at least, I don't care if there's 25 things wrong on the home inspection. Probably 23 of them are stupid, right? Mm-hmm. Like the gutter isn't long enough, okay? Who cares, right? But at least they understand what all needs to be done once these kids get in. Right. And they can help them develop a plan for saving money for replacing that furnace when it goes. And it might be 8 years from now, but it's going to go. And it's just so much more helpful because the kids just want to get in so much. They'll totally ignore everything. And then when things start going wrong, they say, well, how did this happen? Who caused it? It's not their fault. Well, it isn't their fault because they wanted to get in so bad they didn't hear anything.
Right. It's
this way, it just works out so much better for everybody involved. And you get close to these people. The longest I've worked with somebody, I think, is about 16 months to bring them out of a bad credit score into a good credit score, saying, okay, how much further do you want to go? Do you want to save more? Do you want to go? Do you want to execute? Because the longer you wait now, you're up against higher interest rates.
Right.
So you may wait for a year and find out, it really didn't do me any good. There's a fine line here. And that's the difference between going with someone who has 20 years of experience and somebody who's got 6 months. Or somebody who just answers the phone and takes the information and says, oh, yeah, you're going to be approved. Really?
Yeah, And then you find out that, you're approved, but here's all the hoops you have to jump through to get
right.
That.
Did they see your pay stubs? No. Did they see your tax returns? No. But we were approved. I said, okay, but where do you think the people got this information from? They approved you on what you told them.
Yep.
What if what you told them isn't exactly the way these rules are written that we have to follow? Well, they should be. Okay. That's nice, but it doesn't mean it's going to happen that way, guys.
It's in a perfect world, and also garbage in, garbage out.
That's right.
What if you're off?
That's the problem. That's really the problem.
Or people forget or say, I do have student loans.
Yeah.
That's always
right.
the bad part. Or, I did have that bankruptcy, but it was years ago.
Right. Or why didn't the unemployment count? I was unemployed. They gave me money.
Well, and also, too, is And none of the things that you said are bad.
No.
It's only bad when you don't go in armed with everything that you need.
Well, it's bad when you get to the point where you find this house you love, and then all of a sudden everybody starts saying, you know what? Can't have it. Can't have it.
Yeah.
Can't have it. Because you weren't prepared right.
Right. But a lot of that information that you did mention, you can work with somebody that...
Right. You can be unemployed, but it has to go in a separate, kind of like a separate bucket, so that everybody knows what they're doing. Unemployment is not a job.
No.
It's an unfortunate situation, and a lot of people during COVID were unemployed.
Right. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a strike against you when you're
No, but if it's presented right, it works. If everything comes as a surprise and you're trying to, you have the average closing you want 30 days, these are just obstacles that can take days and days and days to get through.
Right.
And to Nancy's point, what first-time buyers don't understand a lot of time is the difference between the pre-approval, like Nancy said, where all they do is they write down what you say, and a lot of home sellers now, they don't want a pre-approval. They want a commitment letter. They want to know that you vetted the taxes, you vetted the pay stubs. A commitment letter actually means that the bank or the mortgage company is going to give you a loan subject probably just to appraisal and survey and title search. So if you really want a house in this market when it's moving fast, do the homework, get your loan person everything they need, and get that a commitment letter, because the approval letter, pre-approval usually isn't worth the paper it's written on.
That's true. That's true. Nowadays, like you said, it's evolved. It has changed so much.
It really has, and because of the 2008, 2009 debacle, they have really tightened it. Now they're starting to loosen it again. And like before in 2008, you could just say, state your income, and they just believed you. Well, that was really created for business owners to get around what they write off. And unfortunately, if you're getting a paycheck that says you make $1,000 a week, why are we stating that you make $102,000 a year when it's only $52,000? Why are you using a stated program when you're a W-2 employee? And those are the things that just are now not going to fly. And
got to play by the rules.
Yeah, it's just a tough situation we're in.
Basically, you have the paperwork justifying everything that you need, so you have a paper trail and everything moving
exactly
forward.
Right.
And that makes sense. And and that's also the thing too, is being able to, when you're buying something, you want to make sure you're happy with the product that you have. Everyone wants to walk away from that transaction very happy.
Absolutely.
The lender wants you to lend you money, and they want you happy.
We all want you happy.
Of course they do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because they're going to make money. You're going to enjoy the house. Everybody's going to be happy going in there. And it starts with the house that you buy and finding the right house. But it also starts with understanding what exactly the house is what it is. And I say that because you are not going to find a perfect house that needs nothing. That doesn't exist. Even a brand new house.
Only on HGTV.
Yes. Yeah. A brand new house will have certain things that you're going to do. Maybe not as much, but it will have some little quirks and stuff on it. And even a house that is, when I see people that have, that's a flip or anything, I look harder. I say look harder. I say check the history on it. Check the permits down there. Make sure that whoever did it did what they were supposed to do. Everything adds up. Just because, again, once you buy the house, it's yours.
You're right. You're right
it.
about checking permits.
Yes.
Yeah, and here's another thing. I mean, I grew up in Chicago. Chicago's my home. I understand how things work in Chicago, and I'm not saying that this didn't happen to this woman.
Right.
I'm just saying, because I know things can happen, but it should not have happened because all these preventative measures are in place.
Right. And that's, and that's the thing, and that shows that you have to be more diligent, and it's just
you have to be very proactive.
Right. And you can't emphasize enough on getting good people and getting good people in your corner from the start, so you don't have to deal with this at the end.
That's right, because it's very sad, and I'm sure it was a horrible experience for her.
And I feel bad for her, because this is supposed to be I always say it, the American dream could turn into the American nightmare really quick if it's not done right.
That is correct.
correct.
So, but what we're going to do is, and this is unfortunate, we're going to move on to better things, which is more of the happier things.
Happy
on this.
things.
Now, we're going to talk about the market. Now, housing market, is it with the rising interest rates? Where are we at now? Where's it going?
We're all over the place because as the stock market drops, the bond market goes up. And as long as the 10-year Treasury keeps going up, the rates are going to keep going up. The 30 years being as high as 6.375. It is back down about to 5.625, but the rates move. If I quoted someone a rate at 11 o'clock, doesn't mean that rate would be good at noon. I mean, it just moves that fast. And I have the privilege, being a mortgage banker, meaning I'm going to fund that loan. I get to see all the rates that are out there and all the bonds. And sometimes I actually see better deals for people if they're just a little bit more flexible. Like I had a guy who was a 30-year at 5.875, and a 20-year for him would be 5.125. So, in the difference to him cost-wise was like $250 more a month.
Okay, that's
for that. It's really reasonable for him to just go to the 20.
And that you bring that up, like, and the way you say that is, and you're explaining it where you can get really confused. But me talking to you in it, and I'm like, okay, 30 or 20. I'm always told to do 30 or I'm always told 30 on program. Having that third party that's there listening, going, okay, the 30 is this. The 20 is this. When I get you home, I could say, okay, can you afford the extra $200 a month to get this? This is what she was saying.
And he could. He said, well, in fact, his words were to me, do you think I'm an idiot? Of course I would take that. And I'm like, okay, then this is a great rate for you. And his bank told him that they had 30 years at 5%. And I said, you know what? If you feel that way, call them back. Tell them you want to explore this. And he called me back later that day and said, I can't get anybody to talk to me. The bank manager said, oh my God, we were in the 6s. Where did you get 5s from? So depending on the teller told him that. And like I told him, I said, the teller gets an incentive to take and tell you something to get you to the branch manager. She has to get so many people from her teller station over to him. Most people don't even know that.
Gotta
so
do
I
your
said,
quotas.
Yeah, these banks have quotas, which came out with Wells Fargo, and they stopped it for a while, but it's all back in there. So I said, what would you like to do? And he goes, he said, you know what? He said, you've been so honest. He goes, I just believe what you're telling me, and now I'm done. And I'm like, okay, then let's just lock at the 5.125.
I mean, it's being able to look at everything and having the flexibility, but understanding what does that mean as far as hardcore numbers each month on affordability.
Right. And then his seller wound up calling me because the realtor couldn't understand it, which fine. And the guy said, I want 60 days. And I said, okay, that's going to cost him more money. So what are you going to give him for that? And when I got done explaining all about the money, he said, you know what? He said, what are you suggesting? I said, I say you close within the 30 days and then you pay him rent until you can really go. Because he's building and he doesn't know when his home's going to be ready. And the guy said, that's more than fair. He goes, I don't want to cost this guy more money over a long period of time. So if you really get experienced people, they can talk you through and it makes sense. When you just get chaos, she's an inexperienced realtor. At least she was honest enough to say, I can't follow what you're talking about. I'm just going to have you talk to my client directly. Right. And he and I worked it out probably in 10 minutes or less, and everybody was fine.
Right.
And the deal went through.
What we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break. You're listening to the Prepare to Repair show here on WJOL 13. Welcome back to the Prepare to Repair show. I am your host, Steve Suarez. Back with me is
Audrey Johnson.
I was going to say that, but you
and Nancy Long-Graham from American Portfolio Mortgage.
Apparently, I forgot the American last time.
We're all American. What can we say?
So, before the break, we were talking about the market and how it's changed, and Nancy gave us a whole just slew of information.
That was great.
That
was very good.
Buying and just looking at real numbers and the benefits of being flexible. Now, on your end, as far as the inventory, What's up? What's happening with that end?
This has been a very interesting last couple of years as in the business for me, and I've been doing this a long time. But I think one of the last times I was on, remember, end of May, I said it's the top of the market.
Right.
We're done. The craziness is over. So what has been very interesting is that with the interest rates, we knew that was going to happen. We knew it was going to slow down. That's just how people are. Oh, it's more money. We're going to stop. But what's happening is the houses that are renovated look good, priced right. There's still multiple offers. So it's still very busy. Yes. I mean, I've been in a multiple offer situation 3 times in the past few weeks. No. So it's still there because here's what's also what created the additional problem with this. So it's not just your buyers, your buyers saying, "Oh my God, the interest rates are high." It's the potential sellers who are sitting in their home who are thinking about, well, maybe we're going to move up and buy that big house with the pool, or the seniors go, well, maybe we're going to downsize now. But here's the thing. They're sitting there with maybe a 3% mortgage. So why are those sellers going to move up or move down right now if they have to get into a 6% mortgage? So now you've got people who are now stopping inventory from coming on the market because they're not going to sell right now. So you've created a situation where now it's a shortage of inventory because it's not to the seller's advantage to necessarily sell right now.
Okay, now we talked about this before. I want to ask you, the difference between a 3% mortgage and a 6% mortgage, what is that roughly on a $100,000 mortgage per month? What's the difference estimated?
It would be like $300. Okay. So
that could be a lot
quite
for
a bit.
people.
Yeah, okay.
It's quite a bit, especially when the average home is probably 300 and
350 maybe.
Yeah, I was going to say 360 down.
Yeah.
So it could be pretty substantial. The reason why I said this because when I bought my first house, I was probably in the 7s. So it's like,
but you were used to it. That was the world. Yeah. Now you've got all these people, the special millennials, who were raised on 2 7/8 to 3.5. And I would tell all my first-time buyers, buy something now, even if it's not your dream house. Right. This is a once-in-a-lifetime probably opportunity, once-in-a-generation opportunity.
Take advantage.
Free money, which what I thought the 3.5% was.
Makes sense. It makes perfect sense. And that's why I asked on that, because it's like when you start, again, it comes down to real numbers. And why would you do that? You're absolutely right. Why would you do that? And see, like you were saying, houses that are new. I'm gonna ask you a question. I have a customer that I was just at his house last week, and he's going through a divorce, and he's looking to put his house up for sale. And he has in his area, his house is the only one that has a bathroom in the basement. Now, the person that did the bathroom in the basement really didn't do it well. He didn't know what he was doing. I'm sugarcoating it. It's bad. Okay, just bad. It's bad. So he needs to have piping done, needs to have the shower done and everything and other work. Now, I guess my question would be is, should he spend the money to fix that shower correctly and fix everything correctly, or should he just sell it as is? Considering his is the only one in there that has a bathroom in the basement.
An extra bathroom is always an item of value.
Okay.
So I would say, let's say it costs him, maybe $5,000 to fix? What is
probably going to be around 7, but yeah.
Okay, that's probably worth about 10 to 12 additional value.
Okay. On
the market. So I would say I would do it.
Okay.
And again, it's a case-by-case basis. Are you going to get more? Is it worth, like, from somebody, if everybody's a two-bath house, and this is going to make it a 2.5 or a 3-bath house, that's worth a lot to a family.
Right.
Or a related living or anything like that.
Okay.
And also just go back to what we were talking about, the other interesting point that even though the interest rates are up, in the last 30 to 60 days, homes in our area have also hit a new high in price.
Okay.
So it's very interesting that it kind of slowed down, The interest rates went up, but the inventory is still so tight in desirable homes that the prices have spiked up.
Right.
So
Usually
it's a very
when
interesting scenario.
So usually when your interest rates go up, your prices go
That has not happened unless what you'll have seen happen faster is homes that need fixing
right.
or are dated, the price reductions are coming faster and they're sitting longer. But if it's a nice house and it's move-in ready, it is gone.
Just clean.
Right.
Yeah, clean. It's got to be clean.
Have you seen those houses that need work, or
Yes.
have you seen those houses? The prices start to drop on those.
Yes, they drop quickly. People aren't messing around. They don't get an offer in 3 to 7 days. I see a price reduction.
No.
We'll see a price reduction again.
I'm going to tell you from a contractor standpoint. I've talked to people. If I'm looking for a house, and I have a little bit of vision, and you want to get in on something, I would rather walk into a house that the same owner had for 30 years, didn't update it, and I know my enemy. I know what I'm dealing with. So whatever dollar I spend, I know anything I do is going to be what I want.
What if they didn't take care of it?
Well, the thing is even if they didn't take care of it, you could still get it at the right price, and you know you're going to demo it anyway. It's wrecked. You're going to demo it anyway, but you do know your internals are still there.
Okay.
Because, like, say you flip it around and somebody buys a house that was redone and it was done bad. So now you've got, not only do you have the repair that you have to do with all the stuff behind the walls that they left, you've got to pull that granite countertop that they that they put in. You have to pull that backsplash they put in. You have to pull those cabinets out that they put in. You got to demo that tile wall, that shower that they put in, all that stuff, and all of it has to go back. So not only do you have the repairs of the mechanicals or whatever that's behind the wall, now you've got you got to put everything back. So that the price tag just goes up. Whereas if you go walk through the door knowing that I'm going to determine what I can save and what I can't, it's wrecked coming through the door. So I know what I'm dealing with. And then you take it from there. So then the furnace I know needs to be replaced. The electrical I know needs to be replaced. That's what having the right team and having the right people, and also having the right skill set and people to work with you to be able to do that. But if that's an option, I would not overlook what they would say grandma's house or whatever, because that might be a nice diamond in the rough. But I don't know, do you get money for that? How do you do that?
That was my question. In your case, you have to have money set on the side to make those repairs. You can't
somebody's
lend.
Putting down this huge amount of money to go overprice on somebody's houses, right?
But what you're forgetting is, Steve, is that you're a rarity in today's world.
Yeah, I know.
Our generation, though you're younger than I am, grew up knowing how to fix things.
What are you
I love
doing?
you. It's just, like my dad could fix anything.
Right.
I grew up, I could fix basic stuff. Nancy can, Steve, you could fix just about anything. So people who could fix anything are a rarity. I have couples who buy a house, don't even own a hammer or a pair of pliers. So all they want to do is move in, and they think it's always going to be okay forever. They will pay to have perfect because they don't know what to do.
Well, I will tell you.
That's what's driving this price increase.
The other problem is he could be talking about, let's just put a number on it, $50,000 worth of repairs. Most people don't have the $50,000 in cash to make those repairs, nor do they have that kind of limit on their credit cards or anything.
I don't shoot down your ideas.
No, I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I'm just saying you have to understand that could be the answer why so many people are not doing it.
All right, everybody, say goodbye to Nancy. Nancy just shot down all my dreams and hopes.
But there are people. There are people like Steve out there who. That's where your rehabbers come from. They have the talent. They have resources. If it's not their money, they have a company that backs them, that they can pull cash from to fix. But the majority of people can't do it.
We're not going to have the Debbie Downer here saying. But no, actually, I'm joking.
The sun will come out tomorrow.
Yeah. But she's absolutely correct. I mean, it's not many people have that, but if you do have that option, that might be something to look at.
Well, the answer to that is to either get plans made and then borrow against it and then remortgage when you're done.
Right.
You can do that.
See, there she offered us a solution for you.
Exactly. It's flexibility and having the creativity. So those are still available with having the right team in place, and that's the main thing.
It is.
That's the most important thing on it. And again, you have the opportunity to get that new one. It's just whatever's going to fit you, what you want to do. But I want to ask you this real quick, because then we're gonna, the show goes by so quick. What percentage of your buyers would you say are very that don't have a lot of the skill sets for repairs or being able, just knowledgeable with homes?
It's probably a two-part question, because most of your first-time buyers have little to none, unless they're coming in from a trade. They're a carpenter. Right. They're a plumber or something like that. So, and then you have the people who've had a home who grasp, and they're reselling or they're buying another home, and they grasp what it costs to gut a kitchen. So I would say this year, about 45% had no clue what it takes.
Okay.
So I thought that was a lot.
Well, coming up, probably by the end of the year, these homeowners that you speak of will have a comprehensive resource to assist them with all the information they need.
And what is that?
And that is going to I'll be making announcements on the show. Ooh. And you're going to see that this show is going to really evolve into something that is going to be extremely helpful. So I'm going to leave that little tidbit.
Well, that's
out there.
Exciting.
Yes. That's very exciting.
So, but Audrey, I want to thank you for being on the show. How does one reach the great and fabulous Audrey?
You could either email me at audreyjohnson@realtor.com or give me a phone call at 708-349-3456, or my cell, which is 708-846-6494. Cell's probably faster.
And Nancy?
Nancy Long Graham, also known as Debbie Downer. I'm with American Portfolio Mortgage Corporation. You can give me a call at 708-341-9601. And I'm hoping that Steve can find suppliers who are willing to finance the people for 12 years free financing so they can make his dream come true.
Amen.
Thank you, guys. I want to thank everybody for listening. Appreciate you. And we will see you all next Monday.